Building a tool in Smartsheet can be frustrating at times. When you are showing such a great amount of data, yet you're unable to illustrate it like you want. One of the most powerful tools in the Smartsheet library is Calendar app. It is able to take information both over time by category and present it in a way that is very helpful for users to understand quickly a lot of information and to be able to schedule themselves into the overarching view. My name is Will Van Busker, and with over 7 years of experience in Smartsheet, I've built many calendars. And I want to show you not only how to create one, but the functionality and some of my favorite tips and tricks to build out an excellent calendar. Let's begin. So the Calendar app is a powerful calendar view over sheets or reports, or over a specific report. The Calendar app is able to not only split information by dates, but also leverage multiple criteria for categories, users, even symbols. I have found it to be a very effective way for users to present timelines, to present roadmaps, and any other type of presentation that leverages time and quarters and months and so forth. When you have a lot of information happening and when people need to make sure that their events or tasks don't conflict with others, the Calendar app is an excellent way to show at a portfolio view, you need sometimes on a deep projects view, how you're going to be working with everybody else and for them to see how they participate in the entire team's timeline. So we will start out with showing a sheet set up and optimized. So this sheet has already been optimized for the calendar view. I have the primary column, introducing the label. Type is a type of category, so I have 3 options with this: virtual, live, and hybrid. My start date is how I'm going to start the event, and my end is when it's going to end. Then I also have a second category right here. What type of size is the event? And then finally, I want to just show how you can leverage notes as well. So all of these columns are able to be taken into consideration when setting up the calendar view. Now, to create the calendar view, I will need to separately go to the Calendar app, and then I would click Add New, and I would locate the specific sheet I'm leveraging. So I'm going to click on this Calendar app example here, and then I'm going to click Next. I want to call out that when you're setting up a calendar, selecting your source is a part that cannot be changed. So almost every other part of a configuration for a calendar can be changed except for the source. When you want to make a new source, you're going to create a new calendar. So in this situation, I'm going to select the daily view. Since most of my events are within this month, it makes sense for me to either do the weekly or daily. In this case, I want to show the depth of the daily view. I can actually toggle between these when I have the app open, but this sets it so that the daily view is what is coming up on default. Next, I'm going to be mapping all the columns in my sheet. Now remember, this can be done for a sheet or done for an entire report. But if you're doing it for a report, you want to make sure that you have standardized every column to be able to fit into that report so that when you're building out your calendar, you're knowing that the same columns apply in all the sheets you're leveraging. So I'm going to use event here. I don't have an owner, but that would be a person that's assigned. Task details could be my notes. My start is exactly the start date there. And then the end is, then notice that the only 2 key columns that are needed are the task name, which is that primary column, or could be some sort of text column. And then also the start date. The calendar has to have a date to operate. So you need to not only have it selected at a date column, but also you need to make sure that you have dates in there for it to be presenting any information. So if you say Q1 of 24 or something like that, it's not going to show anything on the calendar. Now, data grouping. This is one of the most powerful pieces of the Calendar app. So I'm able to select type, and you can see right here, it gives me a color selector. So I could get really specific on what colors I think would make sense for virtual, live, and hybrid. I can also have a secondary grouping. In this case, I'll choose a size. Let's take a look at that. So this is what the calendar looks like in the weekly view. You'll notice that there's only one item this week, so it shows every single day, and it shows that this spans from Wednesday to Friday. If I click on it, I'm able to see all the values that I can edit from the calendar view. You can actually edit these. You can attach and comment, especially if it's not in a published mode. Most of the time when we use this on a dashboard, we will actually publish it so that the users can't actually edit it in its presentable tool. So I'm going to switch from the day to the week. And right away, you can notice that all 3 of the events that I marked are now on here. And it shows them not only by the type right here, but also the size. Now, if I were to flip this and have it organized by the size, I could actually have 2 items within small and 1 within large. So it's going to depend on how you set up your type. It's important to make sure that when you have 2 different categories, that you have the one that makes the most sense to be the top category, because it is going to be off of a hierarchy. You're able to create filters on this, and that can be really useful for users because it's able to set up specific views for different teams to be able to toggle and see what's relevant to them, especially when these calendars get very busy. Now let's go in and customize further. So this is what I see right away. I'm able to toggle all these different types of views. I can go day, month, I can go by quarter. And it's nice because you may have different ways you need to slice and dice the data. And you need to make sure that all the types of views can encompass what you're trying to illustrate with your calendar. So now let's go to settings. What I just showed were the key configurations, but you can actually expand to show many more. So in the next page of the wizard, you can see where you can actually select different columns to be able to be presented within that box. You're able to sort the columns too. This is effective if you're not doing grouping, but once you use grouping, it's not going to actually leverage the sort because it's going to assume your grouping is the way you want to organize the information. Now this can be really powerful because this allows you to customize things to be very specific for the viewers. One, you can set it to be a specific date. You don't have to always have it open to today. Maybe your calendar needs to look ahead or even look at something behind. You can set it to be a specific date and it will always open by default to that date. You can select the amount of periods. You can even choose the date format. So depending on your viewers, you may want to change that. Now, there's a third way you can categorize. You can actually color by column, choosing to make the color a specific type of category. So an example of this that's really helpful is when we use the health values and we have it may be green, yellow, red to say the health of the project. You could actually set it up so that it could be green, yellow, red. Once I select the type of category, if it is options like so, I can make those specific colors and I have quite a lot of options to choose from. And then I can also change the type of tile view. So it could be header bar, it can be semi-transparent. There are a lot of different selections in here that you can customize your calendar to be set up. And then finally, these are some of the extra options that I recommend looking through that can be very helpful for setting up very specific calendars that illustrate the data in the way you want to present it. Some of my favorite options in here are to be able to leverage the color by column. So this is the key functionality within the calendar app. But you also can get very creative in setting up multiple calendars. Many times what we will do is we will set up a different calendar per dashboard. And then we create a tab-like experience with multiple dashboards that show multiple types of views of the calendar. Although the user can customize up here, it is also handy to have some of the dashboards set up to be the exact view. Even if it's the same data, perhaps it's over a quarter, perhaps it's including more teams. We have found over time that many users have different ways they look at the categories. It's not always the same. So we recommend trying out different views, working with your audience to make sure that they're seeing the information they want. A calendar gives you a lot of capability within Smartsheet, but you want to be careful not to overwhelm your users. And you want to also make sure that you're presenting a story that can explain to people what's going on within your portfolio, your team, and a calendar can really help you do that if you take the time to do it right. So today, I hope you have seen some of the effective ways to design a calendar in Smartsheet. There are tons of ways to present information using this tool. We've only scratched the surface. If you like videos like this, please smash that subscribe button and follow us for more videos.